joining me again today.
Oh, hi, Vida. It's such a pleasure. Thanks for including me in these little fun things about mastering alchemy. I love it.
I love it because we get a chance to actually talk about what happens inside mastering alchemy. And we talk a lot about the tools and the concepts that we're putting together and how amazing they are. But they're so simple. And so in some ways, simple is not always easy. Right. So it's such a journey of self discovery and awarenesses and aha moments and face palm moments. You're like, oh,
Yep.
that's what I was doing. Oh, and I did it again. And oh, it's not working. Oh, I'm miserable. This is all garbage. Like there's such a roller coaster of movement as you move through your mastery. I mean, so many glass ceilings, and you can't even see your own genius very well. Like there's so many different components of like how does this all work? So I'm excited to kind of talk to you a little bit more about how this works and have you share some experiences of having gone through and working with some of the tools. So how have you found mastering alchemy and working with the tools? What's your experience like?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I just love mastering alchemy, and it's been the thing. Let me just put it under, but the thing that has really helped me master myself and be able to let go of who I am not and to really step into who I am. So, brilliant. However, through the journey, there are ups and downs, like you said, a bit of a roller coaster ride. And I thought, I don't know, maybe I could share a story with you about, where I feel, first of all, I'm using the tools very well. Uh, but then I bumped into a moment where it wasn't working as I wanted, and learned tremendous amounts in that experience. So let me just first off say, like, it's only been, well, almost a year since I've been in Mastering Alchemy, and I'm at the beginning of level 3. And I think what I just loved about level 2, yes, a bit of frustration of like not moving fast enough, or why do I have to
Right.
do these darn triangles? But wow, those were like such a blessing. And that could be a whole video on itself, the eighth ray triangles. But so, like 2024 for me has been a quite a roller coaster ride. My mom, at the end of January, gave me a call, and she's like, "I just want to let you know that I don't remember how to use my remote control." And then she said, "It took me forever to remember how to call you." And I had just started mastering alchemy, like so that was the end of January. Started at the beginning of January of 2024. And I'm like, ooh, okay. So memory loss. And I mean, I know lots about the mind body connection. So to me, I knew that if there's memory loss, it's almost like, without really saying it's the end, but it's when you're losing that capacity, it's like there's a part of you that's like, okay, like this, I'm done with this lifetime. So I was kind of digesting that. And my mom had gone through dialysis for 3 years. She's 80, she was 82. And like, so February was a month of, you know, are you going to stop dialysis? When are you going to pass away? What are we doing? Or dealing with her fears of not being forgiven by God, of stopping dialysis. So all of that. And February was the month of just being open with my mom and giving her her space, and me, embodying words of I am kind, I'm compassionate, like embodying those words because, sometimes our parents, they push our buttons, right? So, anyways, I was so grateful to have Mastering Alchemy in my life at that point, to be able to really be there for my mom. So, my mom passed on March 1st. It was beautiful. It was peaceful. We manifested how she was going to go. And it was just beautiful and loving. But then, it's Julie has to figure out now what she's doing without mom. I was like the caregiver type of thing. No one left in my family, dad gone, brother gone. And so cleaned up her apartment for the entire month of March, being present, just not falling in the trap of poor me or so. Like I felt I coasted I was coasting through everything. Like, I'm like, this is wonderful. What a gift. Um,
But really, can I pause you? Like, what were you doing during the days? Like, did you get up and set your energy for the day? Did you find where you were dropping? Were you owning the words? Like, what got you through that? That's big.
yeah, thanks. I tell you, I think I mentioned it to Jim not too long ago. Like when I started mastering alchemy, every morning I wouldn't get out of bed without saying, I like me. And not just
Hmm.
saying it, obviously feeling it. So I think that would just set up my energy at a higher vibration that I've probably ever been in my life. Looking back, that I would usually wake up with slight depression or, oh, another day. What am I going to do today? So that I think shifted everything for me. Um, and yes, embodying the words was huge, like just opening that heart space and just functioning from a different place, completely different place. So, I navigated through that in that sense and just being present, not allowing myself to fall into memories of, just, oh, here I am. I'm going into, a memory of that's going to make me sad. I can like almost feel the sadness. I was like, okay, breathe, come back to the present moment. So that's what kind of got me through it. So March, I cleaned my mom's apartment. We give all her stuff away, which was just so wonderful. I didn't sell a thing, gave. So that was, you know, transformational as well. April, I clean up my apartment and I move out because I can't even afford my rent anymore. I'm self-employed. Like I wasn't like getting any contracts. And I know now why, because I get a sense that I just needed to be there for my mom, needed to be there for all of this. And so I'm packing the last day of putting all my stuff in boxes in my apartment. I lose it. Like the first time that I'm actually like breaking down in months. And I'm like, I feel like I'm putting myself all in these different boxes and I don't know where these boxes are going. I was, kind of moving to my boyfriend's place, which was like 2 hours away from, where I was not born and raised, but where I spent most of my time. And I just literally level two now. I'm in level two, dismantling myself, not only physically in the boxes, but stuff going to storage, stuff going here, stuff going to my mother-in-law's. I was like just dismantling myself physically as well as energetically, of course. So fast forward, have a wonderful summer. Everything is great. I did the Bristol conference online, loved it, and like learning about star tetrahedron and sapphire blue star, and just having some amazing experiences. I'm like, I am going to the next conference. So I'm talking about the Phoenix conference. I'm still not making lots of money, and I'm like, I don't care. I am going. Like this is my purpose right now is I'm just diving into mastering alchemy. So I find an awesome deal for my flights. I get an amazing roommate from level two that I connected with. And it's the day of to get on my flight and go to Phoenix, Arizona. So I'm at the airport. I leave from Montreal and then I go to Toronto and I'm in Canada, so I have to go across the border. So I enter the place where you have to customs. I get to the room of customs, and there's a massive amount of people like in this place. And like I hadn't traveled in a while, so I'm like, is this normal? This is going to go fast. I got an hour and a half, to go through this lineup. I should be okay. And interesting enough, just before I get in the lineup, the woman stops me and goes, "Oh, ma'am, you can go this way." And I look at her and I go, "Oh no, I don't have Nexus. Like I need to go in this lineup." Okay, so we'll talk about that in a bit. So I get in. She's like, "Oh, okay, so go here." So I'm in the lineup and like it's not moving fast, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to use my mastery alchemy tools." You know, capable. I'm certain I'm going to get my flight. So like I'm embodying these words, confident, and I'm like feeling them, and applying the homework that, Jim had, uh, our clairvoyance and the trying to I'm like trying to feel like the emotion of the person that's experiencing. So I'm just dabbling with that while including I'm confident, I'm capable, I'm gonna make my flight, all this stuff, right? Just embodying those words. And then there's a gentleman at customs who every once in a while, anybody, any US citizen, needing to go through custom. I'm like, no, not me. So I'm not gonna lift my hand, just people cutting on the line, going through, and I'm like, okay, this is getting close. Like, am I gonna? No, I'm certain not falling in the trap of me missing my flight. And of course, now I'm looking at the time and I'm like on customer service on my phone, trying to get someone through Porter Airlines. I don't know. I'm just, not thinking I have to do something about this. And finally, it's like I have like less than 10 minutes. My flight leaves, and I finally get the attention of the guy, the border dude. And I said, "Sir, can I help?" He says, "Oh, no, we don't help here." And like, he's like humoring me. I'm like, dude, I'm going to miss my flight. Like, can you like help me out? He says, "Yes, yes. Okay, come." I pass maybe in front of like 30 people. I'm running to the gate. I get to the gate and the plane is gone.
Oh. Oh.
And I'm seeing this girl on the seat. She's sobbing. And I get there like, really? Like, and here I am catching myself in my reaction, right? So reacting, not
Right. What
being
happened to my
alone,
capable? I was so grounded and in the moment. I was
gone.
gonna get my flight.
It's gone. So I'm, like partly managing myself and partly reacting, obviously, right? Like,
Yeah.
what do you
Yeah.
mean? When's the next flight? Not until tomorrow. I'm like, I can't leave tomorrow. The conference starts tomorrow. I'd be missing like most of day one. And I'm like, any compensation? Can you get me on another flight? No, we have no control on what happens at customs, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, sitting down and, trying to find another flight. And the little girl beside me, not little girl, she's a woman, a grown woman, but sobbing. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And she's telling me about her story. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I said, you're going to be fine. And I'm like, I got a conference tomorrow. Like just a little reactive, not overly, but reactive. So I find another flight costing me, double almost of what I actually paid for my return flight. So, going great, dishing out money that I don't have, and so I have, I don't know, 4 hours to wait to get on the flight, but, book another flight. I know is going to get to Phoenix. And I'm like, okay, well, might as well eat breakfast, So I go to the little diner and I can just feel my energy. Like, poor me, why is this happening to me? The victim, just the victim energy. Even to the point that I'm sitting in the restaurant and the waiter is serving everybody but me. Am I like, great, right? And I'm angry now, right? I'm angry on the situation, angry with the waiter. And he comes by, takes my order, and, whatever. So I'm waiting for my coffee arrives, and then I just sit there and I'm like, you're not staying here, girl. You're not staying in this energy. What's up with this? And so I just took a pen and paper out and I started, asking myself, what's happening here? What happened with this whole situation? What can you learn from this? And just by sitting there, I started, obviously the self pity was there. So I just wrote self pity, poor me. And then, here I am spending money that I don't have. Huh. Isn't that a belief system that I've been carrying all or most of my life? Belief system one that shows up. Then I'm like, okay, what? How did I react through all that? Oh, so these opportunities that showed up that I could have gone the Nexus lineup, the custom guy that got how many people go, through the lineup much quicker than I could have asked before. So my fear of imposing, my fear of asking for what I need. So that was another belief system that showed up. And oh, Oh, what about, me just standing in the lineup thinking that just saying the words were going to work some magic? So this belief of, applying some tools, but then not being responsible in the action that follows, applying a tool. So just, asking for the help or earlier. So that was another pattern that emerged. Um, and yeah, and yeah, just again the fear of communicating my needs. I mean, they may not sound big now, but when I was writing them down, I'm like, oh wow, these are life themes. These so all of this was
Those
happening.
are huge things. There's so many huge things. You've got money in there. You've got speaking without permission in there. You've got even giving yourself permission to say, "Hey, I need help." Or to speaking what you just even saying what you need is like so many big themes in that whole component, and amazing for you to be able to sit down and recognize and take that pause, right? That we love to talk about mastering alchemy. Okay, moment of pause. What am I looking at here? What's actually going on? And how can I unwind this and recreate? So I love the example and kind of the process you went through, and especially the part at the end where there's a doing to what we do. There's not just, I'm just going to put out good vibes and feelings and it's all going to flow. And yeah, that while that's true, there's also that component of action that we kind of need to step into or go recognize that, oh, there's my opportunity. I need to take that and move with the opportunity instead of, letting it kind of pass you by. And that's
Yeah.
such a great balancing act or a tool of mastery to know when to act and when to sit back and let things go and flow. So, okay, keep going with your story, but this is such a big moment for you to be sitting down in the airport, and I would be definitely sitting in, woe is me, this sucks and it was not what I wanted. So you were able to pause, step out of that and find all the places and spaces.
And
So
Vita, it really was magic. Like, it sounds like this was a big process, but it was really just allowing the space for whatever to show the realization of what happened in all those little situations. And it happened fairly quickly. Like, I was done writing by before my breakfast showed up on the table. And I El Shaddai and I eighth grade, all of that. Like in sitting, drinking my coffee. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, Azure. Please remove it. No, like not please. It was just like remove this from my space.
yeah.
Thank
And I
you.
have
Like
to point out, yeah, like how big that is because it's not that, and we were just talking about this earlier in a different conversation where you can use the tools in the moment. So, and you can use them afterwards too. And so you kind of get different aspects of different things as you're doing. So, like in the moment while you're standing in line, you were using your tools like, I'm grounded, I am certain, I am capable. And that worked, right? That was like, I'm here, present minded, and I'm not losing it. Like I'm here. So there's that component where you're using the tools in the work. And then the point where you get to sit down and go, okay, that didn't turn out the way that I wanted it
oops.
to, but what can I get out of this that in a whoa, what a gift. Like, wow, to unlock that box and pull all that stuff out and go, oh wow, I don't need this. I don't need this is coming out of my backpack. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So excellent use of both tools in the moment, even though it didn't turn out the way you wanted to. And a good example of, okay, well, why? Oh, I had all this pre-existing stuff that kept everything from flowing and me just soaring. So beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you so much because that was so liberating to be able to identify out of a crappy situation, which we every once in a while face, and be able to be so grateful to get that stuff out of my space so I don't have to repeat. And the lesson learned, like it was almost an automatic. Okay, almost. When I say almost an automatic of me now asking for what I wanted without feeling that I was imposing. It's almost like the formulation of my words and sentence became easier and I didn't need to really how do I ask for this? It was just like I now show up and just ask, like it was crazy the other day. I was at we went to a spa and me and a girlfriend were celebrating a great weekend that we had. And we go to the bar and I was like, you want to have a shot of tequila? And just for the hell of it, a shot of tequila to celebrate this wonderful weekend. And she's like, yes, and I'm buying. I said, no, no, you shouldn't buy. And then the bartender goes, I'll buy you some tequila. And she brings a bottle. I go, oh, can we have some Patron instead? Patron is much better tequila. She backs away, takes the Patron, which is way more expensive, and pays us shooters, just a shooter. But like, and my friend's looking at me, she's like, you just asked. And I said, yeah,
Yeah.
like in a polite, friendly, fun, uplifting. And I know for a fact it's because of what happened at that airport that I was able to release all of that. And now I speak more clearly, um, without fear.
Yeah. Let's
Without
go back.
fear.
Let's unwind that a little bit because there's a really big component into how you ask. You don't really think about it or how you put the question together. So I was talking with someone else too, where we had a conversation about how you even ask the question. And usually the question is, am I safe? Am I okay? Is it going to be okay if I do this? And even you may not feel like you're in fear when you're asking that question, and that question may feel so normal to you, like, oh, this is how we do it. But instead, it's a backwards construction of the question instead of that. We talk about that chakra, your center chakra. This
Solar plexus?
yeah, the solar plexus. Thank you. And with the solar plexus, it has that component to say, hey, instead of going, what's wrong and what's that outside of me, the question flips to go, what's wrong with me? So it's like it
Yes.
takes the energy and reverses it the wrong direction instead of flowing the right direction. So many of our questions, the things we say and the things we talk are actually a little bit backwards, or they're out of a kind of a broken construction configuration of how we present and show up to this space. And now when you can ask and say hello without feeling imposing on somebody, and is it okay? So we've kind of like removed that out of the space entirely. And now you can ask from, oh, it's going to be so fun if. And then everyone's ready to respond to that and go, oh, okay, no problem. Let's make it more fun. Let's bring more opportunity to the stage. So it's
Yeah.
really the broken ways in which we even form our sentences or even walk into the room. Very sneaky, very subtle to
Yeah,
pull that out.
so much and so well articulated. Like I love the way you explained it. And it's so true. It's like coming in the room backwards. But when you eliminate this stuff, like I don't know, like I don't it just happens now. I don't even have to think, right? It's just like, hello, and can I have this? Can we do this? And it's yes, yes. So and I guess I could put maybe the cherry on top of this whole experience. So went to the Phoenix conference, which was just amazing. Thank you for the organizing on that because that's so huge. And I think so. Yes, everything went great. I was like flying back. Like it was just, I flew back. I had no passengers beside me. It's almost like the universe set things up for like, really crappy beginning. You did good. You got rid of this stuff. And here's a gift. I had two flights, no one beside me where the whole plane was full. I have no idea. I have my suitcase, everything. Here I go. I feel like I'm in first class and I'm not. And then the next day, I believe we had a Q&A. So, we have a Q&A with Jim, and out of the blue, Jim says, I'm not sure who this is for, but complacent and compliant, you may need to, look at that. And I hear everything. Like I'm like, complacent, compliant. Oh my God, that's so mine. And, did some more work. I can't even remember the work that I've done, okay, around it just because it's gone. But I remember those two words were like, okay, this is what's left in my space. Not necessarily speaking up at the conference and wanting to. I was sitting at the edge of my seat and Jim, like, any questions, any comments? I'm like, and I'm not. But, the complacent, compliant was sort of like the cherry on the top of like not wanting to impose, not wanting to disturb, not nah. And since complacent and compliance gone, like there's been huge shifts. For me, it's easy now to be me. So much easier.
It's so cool because you have permission, right? That's
Yeah.
taking your permission back. You're like, I'm right here, and it is so good to meet me. That's the I like me, right? That you talked about. That you get up in the morning with. You're like, yeah, I like
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, what a gift. That's my story.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing your story. I super appreciate it. There were so many wonderful things in there and kind of a great example of kind of part of the process that we all go through as we work through all of these different spots, all the sneaky places. We're like, I had no idea I was sitting there. So thank you. Really appreciate this.
Oh, you're so welcome. Anytime. I just, love. I'm probably could pull some more things out of my head. So you just reach out.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you, Julie. Have a great one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
There's another choice, a choice to step out of this game as we've learned to play, playing it from a different point of reference, a different platform, a platform that allows you to live comfortably, with certainty, being capable, enjoying yourself. There's an internal guidance system within the heart that most have stepped away from in order to play the game of the world around us. It's not complicated, it's a breath away. It allows you to remember who you are and navigate the world very differently. The smile begins to reappear, and the baggage that we walk around with, I'm not okay, I don't deserve, they don't like me. Well, you find that this was never your idea in the first place. It doesn't even belong to you. Mastering Alchemy provides the tools and choices to remove the who you are not, and remember who you came here to be.
Explore Mastering Alchemy and discover you. Find out more at masteringalchemy.com.